Maya couldn't stop her hands from shaking. She wrapped them tighter around her coffee cup, hoping Daniel wouldn't notice. The warmth from the cup did nothing to calm the cold fear spreading through her chest. 3 months. That's how long they'd been together. 3 months of laughter, late-night phone calls, and stolen kisses in the rain. 3 months of feeling something she thought she'd never feel again. Hope. But hope came with fear. And tonight that fear was winning. The coffee shop was nearly empty. Just them, an old man reading a newspaper in the corner and the barista wiping down tables. Soft jazz played from the speakers, but Maya couldn't hear it over the pounding of her own heart. "You okay?" Daniel asked, his brown eyes filled with concern. "You've been quiet all evening." Maya forced a smile. "Yeah, just tired. Work was crazy today, it wasn't a complete lie. Work had been busy, but that wasn't what was keeping her up at night. That wasn't what made her stomach turn every time Daniel looked at her with those kind, trusting eyes. She was lying to him. Not with words exactly, but with silence. And that silence was eating her alive." Daniel reached across the table and gently touched her hand. "Hey, you know you can talk to me about anything, right?" Those words, those simple, caring words, they made everything worse and better at the same time. Maya pulled her hand back, pretending to tuck her hair behind her ear. She couldn't let him touch her right now, not when she was about to shatter the perfect image he had of her. "Daniel, there's something I need to tell you." Her voice came out barely louder than a whisper. Daniel leaned forward, his full attention on her. "Okay," he said softly. "I'm listening." But where could she even start? How do you tell someone about the parts of your past that you've spent years trying to forget? How do you explain the shame that follows you like a shadow? Maya's mind drifted back to when she was 19. Young, hopeful, and so incredibly naive. She remembered the boy who promised her forever. The one who said all the right things, made all the right promises. The one who made her believe that giving everything to someone meant they would never leave. She was wrong. He left exactly 2 weeks after she gave him the most intimate part of herself. No explanation. No goodbye, just gone. Blocked on everything. Like she never existed. Like what they shared meant nothing. The pain of that rejection had cut deeper than any physical wound. Because it wasn't just about him leaving. It was about what it meant. In her family, in her community, there were rules. Expectations. And she had broken them. Her mother's voice echoed in her head, from conversations she'd overheard growing up. A good girl saves herself for marriage. That's what makes her valuable. That's what makes her worthy. Worthy. That word haunted her. After that boy left, Maya felt anything but worthy. She felt used, dirty, broken, like damaged goods that no decent person would want. She spent years building walls around her heart, thick, high walls that nobody could climb. She went on a few dates here and there, but never let anyone get close. Never let anyone pass the surface until Daniel. Daniel was different from the start. He didn't push. He didn't demand. He just showed up, consistently, genuinely interested in knowing her. The real her, and that terrified her, because the more she fell for him, the more she knew this conversation was coming. And the more she dreaded it. "Maya," Daniel's voice brought her back to the present. "You're scaring me a little. What's going on?" She looked up at him, really looked at him, at his patient eyes, his gentle smile, the way he waited without rushing her. Part of her wanted to believe that maybe, just maybe, he would understand, that he would be different. But another part of her, the part that had been hurt and judged and made to feel worthless, that part whispered, "He'll leave. They always leave when they know the truth." "I need to tell you about my past," Maya finally said, "about something that happened before I met you." Daniel nodded slowly. "Okay, and after I tell you, you might not want to be with me anymore." "Maya, please just let me say this." Her voice cracked. "I need to get this out before I lose my courage." Daniel sat back, giving her space, but his expression remained open. Caring. That made it somehow harder. "When I was 19, I was in a relationship," Maya began. Her throat felt tight, but she pushed through. "I thought he loved me. He said he did. He said we'd be together forever. And I believed him." She paused, picking at the cardboard sleeve around her cup. "I grew up in a traditional family. My parents, especially my mom, always taught me certain things about relationships, about waiting, about how important it was to save certain parts of myself for marriage. But when you're 19 and someone tells you they love you, tells you they'll never leave, those lessons get fuzzy. Daniel remained quiet, just listening. So I gave him everything. I trusted him completely. And then 2 weeks later, he was gone. Just vanished, and I was left feeling like I'd made the biggest mistake of my life. Maya's eyes burned with unshed tears. She hadn't cried about this in years. She thought she was over it. But sitting here, about to lose another person she cared about, all those old wounds felt fresh. The worst part wasn't even that he left, she continued, her voice shaking. The worst part was how I felt about myself afterward. Like I was broken. Like I'd given away something I could never get back. Like no good person would want me now because I wasn't pure anymore. She finally looked up at Daniel, tears streaming down her face. I know we haven't talked about this stuff. I know it's awkward and uncomfortable, but I can't keep pretending. I can't keep acting like I'm someone I'm not. So here it is, the truth you deserve to know before this goes any further. Maya took a shaky breath. I'm not a virgin, Daniel, and I know that matters to some people. I know that makes me less in a lot of people's eyes. And if that's how you feel, I'll understand. I won't blame you. She couldn't finish the sentence. She just stared at her hands, waiting for the disappointment, the judgment, the goodbye. The silence stretched between them. Every second felt like an hour. Maya kept her eyes down, unable to watch the moment when Daniel's expression would change, when he would see her differently, when he would realize she wasn't what he thought she was. She heard him shift in his chair, heard him take a breath. This was it. This was where he would make an excuse to leave. Where he would say he needed time to think. Where he would, Maya, look at me. His voice was soft but firm. Slowly, reluctantly, she lifted her eyes to meet his. And that's when she saw it. He was smiling. Not a cruel smile, not a mocking smile, but a gentle, understanding smile that reached his eyes. Is that what you've been worried about all this time? He asked quietly. Maya couldn't speak. She just nodded, confused by his reaction. Daniel leaned forward again, and this time when he reached for her hand, she didn't pull away. Maya, I need you to hear this. Really hear this. I never wanted perfect. Those words hung in the air between them. Simple words that carried so much weight. I don't care about your past, Daniel continued. I don't care about mistakes you think you made. I don't care about some standard of purity that someone else decided was important. That's not why I'm here. That's not why I'm with you. Maya's tears fell harder now, but for a different reason. I'm with you because of who you are right now, in this moment. Because you make me laugh. Because you're kind. Because you challenge me to be better. Because when I'm with you, everything feels right. He squeezed her hand gently. Everyone has a past, Maya. Everyone has things they wish they could change, but those things don't define us. They're just part of our story, and I want to know your whole story, not just the parts you think are acceptable. Maya couldn't believe what she was hearing. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. He was supposed to be disappointed, shocked, maybe even angry. But he wasn't any of those things. He was just Daniel. Kind, patient Daniel, looking at her with the same warmth he always had. You don't think less of me? Maya whispered. How could I? You trusted me enough to be honest. You were brave enough to share something painful. That doesn't make you less, Maya. That makes you human. The weight that had been pressing on Maya's chest for months began to lift. Just slightly, but years of shame don't disappear with one conversation. Years of being told her worth was tied to her past don't vanish because one person says different. I want to believe you, Maya said honestly. But it's hard. I've spent so long thinking that this made me damaged. That no decent person would want someone like me. Then we'll work on it, Daniel said simply. Together, however long it takes. Maya wiped her eyes with her free hand. Why are you so understanding about this? Daniel smiled again. Because everyone deserves to be loved for who they are, not who they used to be or who someone thinks they should be. And Maya, you deserve that more than anyone I know. As they sat there in that quiet coffee shop, hands linked across the table, Maya felt something shift inside her. She wasn't healed. She wasn't suddenly free of all her shame and fear. But for the first time in 7 years, she felt like maybe, just maybe, healing was possible. Maybe she could learn to see herself the way Daniel saw her. Maybe her past didn't have to be a prison. Maybe there was hope after all. It was just the beginning. But sometimes a beginning is all you need. Maya barely slept that night. She kept replaying Daniel's words in her head over and over. I never wanted perfect. Could it really be that simple? Could someone really accept her completely past and all? By the time morning came, she was exhausted but also strangely lighter. Like she'd been carrying a heavy backpack for years and finally set it down. Daniel texted her around noon. "How are you feeling today?" She stared at the message for a long time before typing back. "Honestly, I don't know. Can we talk later?" "Of course, my place? I'll make dinner." Maya's stomach tightened. His place. Just the two of them. No coffee shop crowds. No easy escape routes. Just honest conversation. She almost said no. Almost made an excuse. But something stopped her. Maybe it was his kindness last night. Maybe it was exhaustion from hiding for so long. Maybe it was just a tiny spark of hope that refused to die. "Okay. What time? 7? I'll be there." The hours between noon and 7 felt like days. Maya tried to work, but she couldn't focus. She tried to watch a show, but nothing held her attention. Finally, she just lay on her couch, staring at the ceiling, trying to prepare herself for whatever came next. What if Daniel had time to think about it and changed his mind? What if last night's acceptance was just shock, and today he realized he couldn't be with someone like her? What if his family found out and they thought less of him for dating her? The anxious thoughts swirled like a storm in her head. By the time 7 o'clock came, Maya had changed outfits 3 times and redone her makeup twice. She looked at herself in the mirror one last time before leaving. "Whatever happens, you told the truth," she whispered to her reflection. That took courage. The drive to Daniel's apartment felt too short. Before she knew it, she was standing outside his door, heart pounding, hand raised to knock. The door opened before she could. Daniel must have been watching for her. "Hey," he said with that same warm smile. "Come in." His apartment smelled amazing. Something Italian, maybe pasta. The lights were dimmed, soft music played from a speaker, and the whole space felt cozy and safe. "I made chicken pasta," Daniel said, leading her to the kitchen. "Nothing fancy, but it's edible, I promise." Maya tried to smile, but her nerves made it difficult. She watched him move around the kitchen, setting plates, pouring water. He seemed so normal, so unchanged. Like last night's conversation never happened. Was that good or bad? "You seem tense," Daniel observed as they sat down to eat. "We don't have to talk about anything serious tonight if you don't want to." But Maya shook her head. "No, I need to. There's more I need to say. More you should know." Daniel set down his fork and gave her his full attention. "I'm listening." Maya took a deep breath. The pasta smelled delicious, but she'd completely lost her appetite. "Last night I told you what happened, but I didn't tell you how it affected me, how it's still affecting me." She twisted her napkin in her hands. "After he left, I fell apart. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. I felt like everyone could see my shame just by looking at me, like I had a sign on my forehead announcing what I'd done." Daniel's expression was pained, but he stayed quiet, letting her speak. "My family doesn't know. Nobody knows except my best friend and now you. But even without them knowing, I felt their judgment. Every time my mom talked about proper behavior for women, every time my aunt mentioned how important reputation is, every time anyone in my family discussed marriage and relationships, I felt like they were talking directly to me, like they knew my secret and were disappointed." Maya's voice got quieter. "I started avoiding family gatherings, made excuses not to go to weddings or religious celebrations, because I couldn't stand being around all that talk about purity and goodness when I felt like I'd lost both." A tear rolled down her cheek. She wiped it away quickly. "I threw myself into work, into anything that would distract me. I built this perfect image on the outside, the successful career woman who had her life together. But inside I was dying. Inside I hated myself." "Maya," Daniel started, but she held up a hand. "Please let me finish. I need to get this all out." He nodded. "I dated a few guys over the years. Nothing serious. And the whole time I kept thinking, when do I tell them? How do I tell them? Will they leave like he did?" It became this constant anxiety. So I always ended things before they got serious, before they could know the real me and decide I wasn't worth staying for. Maya looked directly at Daniel now. "But with you it was different. You got past my walls somehow. You made me care again, and that scared me more than anything. Because the more I cared, the more I had to lose." She wiped her eyes again. This was harder than last night. Last night was just facts. Tonight was feelings. Raw, painful feelings she'd kept buried for so long. "I want to believe what you said yesterday. I want to believe that my past doesn't matter to you. But Daniel, I've spent 7 years believing the opposite. 7 years thinking I'm damaged. 7 years feeling like I gave away something I can never get back. You can't just erase that with one conversation. Her voice broke. I'm scared. I'm scared that one day you'll wake up and realize you could do better. That you could be with someone who doesn't have this history. Someone your family would be proud of. Someone who didn't make the mistakes I made. The tears were flowing freely now. All the pain, all the shame, all the fear she'd been holding on to for years was pouring out. I'm scared that loving you means eventually losing you, and I don't know if I can survive that again. Daniel stood up and moved around the table. He knelt beside her chair and gently turned her to face him. Look at me, Maya. She did, through tear-blurred eyes. I need you to hear this, and really understand it. What happened to you 7 years ago was not your fault. He manipulated you. He used your trust and your feelings, and then he left. That says everything about him and nothing about you. He took both her hands in his. And everyone who made you feel like you were less because of it was wrong. Your worth is not determined by your past choices. Your worth is not determined by whether you fit some outdated standard of purity. Your worth is inherent. It's in who you are as a person. In your kindness, your strength, your heart, Maya sobbed. These were words she'd needed to hear for years but never thought she would. As for my family, Daniel continued, they'll love you because I love you. And if they don't, that's their problem, not yours. I'm not dating you for my family's approval. I'm dating you because you're the most genuine, caring, brave person I've ever met. You love me? Maya whispered. Daniel smiled, a little sheepish. Is that okay? I know it's early, but yes. I love you. I loved you before last night, and I love you now. Nothing changed except now I know you better. Now I understand why you pulled away sometimes, why you seemed scared, and it just makes me want to be here for you more. Maya couldn't speak. She just cried. But this time they weren't tears of shame or fear. They were tears of relief, of disbelief, of a tiny seed of hope beginning to grow. I don't know how to accept this, she admitted. I don't know how to believe I deserve this. Then we'll figure it out together, Daniel said. One day at a time. I'm not going anywhere, Maya, not because of this. Not because of anything. You're stuck with me now. He said it with such certainty, such confidence, that for a moment Maya almost believed him. They sat on the floor of his kitchen for a long time. Maya cried until she had no tears left. Daniel just held her, not trying to fix everything, not making promises he couldn't keep. Just being present. Just being there. When Maya finally calmed down, she looked at him with swollen eyes. The pasta's cold, Daniel laughed. Then we'll heat it up. Or order pizza. I don't care. I just care that you're here. They ended up on his couch eating reheated pasta and watching a comedy show. Maya leaned against Daniel's shoulder, feeling emotionally drained but also strangely peaceful. Can I ask you something? Maya said during a commercial break. Anything. Why aren't you bothered by this? Most guys would be. Daniel was quiet for a moment, thinking. My sister went through something similar. Different circumstances, but she also felt like her past defined her. I watched her struggle with shame and self-hatred for years. I watched our parents' traditional views make it worse instead of better. I saw how much it hurt her to feel like she wasn't worthy of love. He looked at Maya. I guess I learned from that. I learned that these standards we put on people, especially women, are destructive. They don't protect anyone. They just create shame, and shame never healed anyone. Maya felt a new wave of emotion, but this time she was too tired to cry. Your sister is lucky to have you. And I'm lucky to have you, Daniel replied. Even if you don't believe it yet. They stayed like that, comfortable in the silence, until Maya started to doze off. Daniel gently shook her awake. Hey, it's late. Do you want to stay over? I'll take the couch, you can have the bed. Maya hesitated. Part of her wanted to stay, wanted to not be alone tonight, but another part, the scared part, worried about what that might mean. Just sleep, Daniel added, reading her mind. Nothing else. I just don't want you driving home this tired and emotional. Maya nodded. Okay, thank you. Daniel gave her comfortable clothes to sleep in and showed her to his room. Before he left to set up the couch, Maya caught his hand. Daniel? Yeah? Thank you. For everything. For listening. For not judging. For being you. He squeezed her hand. Thank you. 2 weeks had passed since that night at Daniel's apartment. 2 weeks of slowly learning that maybe, just maybe, she deserved to be happy. 2 weeks of Daniel proving through small, consistent actions that he meant what he said. He never made her feel like she owed him anything. He never brought up her confession unless she wanted to talk about it. He just loved her, simply, completely, without conditions. But the world outside their bubble wasn't so kind. Maya was sitting in her therapist's office, a place she'd started visiting after that conversation with Daniel. Dr. Patel was a middle-aged woman with kind eyes and an infinite patience that Maya desperately needed. "So," Dr. Patel said, pen poised over her notepad, "you told him everything." Maya nodded. "I did, and he was amazing about it, better than I ever imagined anyone could be. But," Maya smiled slightly, "Dr. Patel always knew there was a but. But I'm struggling to accept it. Part of me keeps waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like this is too good to be true, and eventually he'll see me the way I see myself." "And how do you see yourself?" The question hung in the air. Maya had been avoiding that answer, even in her own head. "Broken," she finally whispered. "Used less than. Like there's a stain on me that won't wash off." Dr. Patel set down her pen. "Where did you learn that? That past intimacy makes someone stained?" Maya thought about it. "My family. My community. Growing up, it was always clear. Good girls wait. Good girls save themselves. And if you don't, well, you're not good anymore." "Did anyone explicitly tell you this?" "Not directly. But it was everywhere. In the way people talked about women who got in trouble. In the way my mom would praise girls who had traditional arranged marriages. In the comments my aunts made about actresses or neighborhood girls. The message was clear even without words." Dr. Patel nodded. "And when that boy left you, it confirmed what you feared. That you had lost value by being intimate with him." Tears pricked Maya's eyes. "Yes, exactly that." "But Maya," Dr. Patel leaned forward, "has Daniel made you feel that way? Has he treated you as if you have less value?" "No," Maya admitted. "The opposite. He treats me like I'm precious." "Then maybe," Dr. Patel said gently, "the problem isn't with you or your past. Maybe the problem is with the beliefs you were taught. Beliefs that made you carry shame for something that was simply a human experience." Maya left therapy that day with homework. She was supposed to write down every negative thought she had about herself, and then challenge it. Ask herself, is this true? Or is this what I was taught to believe? It was harder than it sounded. That weekend, Daniel invited Maya to a family gathering, his cousin's birthday party. Maya's stomach dropped at the invitation. "Your family?" she asked nervously. "Are you sure?" "Of course," Daniel said easily. "They've been wanting to meet you. My mom asks about you every time I call." Maya wanted to say no, wanted to make an excuse, but she also knew she couldn't avoid his family forever if this relationship was going somewhere. "Okay," she agreed, her voice small. "I'll come." The party was at Daniel's parents' house, a warm, welcoming home filled with laughter and the smell of good food. Maya felt out of place immediately. Everyone seemed so comfortable, so normal, like they belonged to something she never could. Daniel's mother, Mrs. Chen, greeted Maya with a warm hug. "Finally. Daniel talks about you constantly. It's so nice to put a face to the name." Maya forced a smile. "It's nice to meet you too." The afternoon went well, actually. Daniel's family was friendly and inclusive. Nobody asked intrusive questions or made her feel uncomfortable. But then, after dinner, as Maya was helping clear dishes in the kitchen, she overheard a conversation that made her blood run cold. Daniel's aunt was talking to his mother in the next room, their voices carrying through the doorway. "He seems serious about this girl," the aunt said. "He does," Mrs. Chen replied. "I haven't seen him this happy in years." "Well, I hope she's worthy of him. You know how young people are these days. No values, no respect for tradition. I've heard stories about girls who—" The aunt's voice dropped lower, but Maya could still make out the words. "No modesty. Give themselves away, and then expect good men to marry them." Maya felt like she'd been punched. Her hands started shaking so badly she almost dropped the plates she was holding. "Auntie, that's old-fashioned thinking," Mrs. Chen said, but her voice was uncertain. "Times have changed." "Some things shouldn't change," the aunt insisted. "A woman's reputation matters. Her purity matters. If she doesn't respect herself, how can she expect others to respect her?" Maya couldn't listen anymore. She set the dishes down carefully and walked out to the backyard. Needing air, needing space, needing to not be here. Daniel found her 10 minutes later, sitting on a bench under a tree, arms wrapped around herself. "Hey, there you are. I've been looking for—" He stopped when he saw her face. What's wrong? Maya couldn't even look at him. The shame she'd been slowly learning to release came flooding back, drowning her. Your aunt, she managed. I heard her talking to your mom. About women with no values. About purity and reputation. Understanding dawned on Daniel's face. His jaw tightened. Maya, she doesn't know anything about you. She was just talking. The way older generations do. It doesn't mean, but she's right. Maya's voice broke. That's the thing, Daniel. She's right about me. I don't have that purity she values. I don't have that reputation. And eventually your family will find out and they'll think I'm not good enough for you, and they'll be right. Stop. Daniel's voice was firm. He sat beside her and took her hands. Stop letting other people's ignorance define you. But they're your family. And I love them. But that doesn't mean they're right about everything. My aunt also thinks women shouldn't work after marriage and that mental health therapy is for weak people. Should I believe that too? Maya was crying now. This is different. No, it's not. It's the same judgmental thinking that's been hurting people for generations. And I won't let it hurt you. But what if they find out? What if they think less of you for being with me? Daniel's expression softened. Then that's their problem. Maya, look at me, please. She did, through tears. I don't care what anyone thinks about us. Not my aunt, not anyone. The only opinions that matter in this relationship are yours and mine. And I think you're wonderful. I think you're strong and brave and deserving of every good thing. I want to believe you, Maya sobbed. I really do. But it's so hard when everywhere I turn I'm reminded that I'm not good enough, that I made mistakes, that I don't measure up. Daniel pulled her into a hug. Those aren't mistakes, Maya. They're life experiences. They're part of your journey. And they don't make you less than anyone. They sat like that for a while, Maya crying into his shoulder, Daniel holding her steady. Eventually, they went back inside. Daniel's mother noticed Maya's red eyes and pulled her aside. Is everything okay, dear? Maya wanted to lie, but she was tired of hiding. I overheard some of the conversation earlier. About modern women and values. Mrs. Chen's face fell. Oh, Maya, I'm sorry. My sister-in-law is very traditional in her views. She didn't mean anything personal. But she's not wrong, Maya said quietly. About people like me. People who don't fit the traditional mold. Mrs. Chen looked at her thoughtfully. Can I tell you something? When I was 20, I dated someone my parents didn't approve of. We were intimate. He eventually left for someone else. I thought my life was over. I thought no one would want me. Maya's eyes widened in surprise. But then I met Daniel's father. And you know what he said when I told him about my past? He said, that's who you were. I'm interested in who you are. And he meant it. Mrs. Chen smiled. My son is like his father. He sees people's hearts, not their histories. If he loves you, Maya, it's because of who you are, and that's all that matters. Maya felt emotion well up again, but this time it was different. Warmer. Thank you, she whispered. Later that night, as Daniel drove Maya home, she felt exhausted but also slightly stronger. Your mom told me about her past, Maya said. Daniel glanced at her. She did. She doesn't usually share that. She must have known I needed to hear it. She's perceptive like that. Daniel reached over and squeezed Maya's hand. Are you okay? Today was rough. Yeah, Maya said. I mean, no. I don't know. Hearing your aunt talk like that brought back all the shame. But then your mom shared her story and you stood up for me and... She paused. I'm not okay yet, but maybe I'm on my way to okay. Daniel smiled. That's all anyone can ask for. When they reached Maya's apartment, Daniel walked her to her door. Thank you for today, Maya said. For defending me, for not being ashamed of me. I will never be ashamed of you, Daniel said firmly. Ever. He kissed her forehead and waited until she was safely inside before leaving. Maya leaned against her door and pulled out the journal Dr. Patel had given her. Time to start that homework. She wrote, I believe I'm stained because of my past. Then challenging it, is this true? Or is this what I was taught? The answer came slowly, but it came. This is what I was taught. Daniel doesn't see me as stained. His mother had a similar past and found love. Maybe the problem isn't me. Maybe the problem is the belief itself. It was a small step, a tiny crack in the wall of shame she'd built around herself. But sometimes small steps are how you... 6 months. That's how long Maya and Daniel had been together now. 6 months of slowly unlearning years of shame. 6 months of therapy sessions, journal entries, and countless conversations about worth and value and what it means to be human. Maya was sitting in her apartment. A blank page in front of her. Dr. Patel had given her a new assignment. Write a letter to her 19-year-old self. The girl who thought her world ended when that boy left. The girl who believed she'd become worthless. It was harder than any assignment yet. Maya picked up her pen and started writing. Dear younger me, I know you're hurting right now. I know you feel like you made the biggest mistake of your life. I know you think no one will ever love you again because of what you've done. I know the shame feels like it's going to swallow you whole. She paused, tears already forming. But I need to tell you something. You're going to survive this. You're going to be okay. More than okay, actually. You're going to find someone who loves you exactly as you are. Maya's hand trembled as she wrote. The words felt both painful and healing at the same time. That boy who left, he didn't deserve you. He was a coward who took advantage of your trust and your love. What he did says everything about his character, and nothing about yours. You are not less because he couldn't see your value. You are not damaged because he threw away something precious. The tears were falling freely now, dropping onto the paper. I wish I could tell you that the pain will go away quickly. It won't. You're going to carry this shame for years. You're going to push away good people because you think you don't deserve them. You're going to look in the mirror and hate what you see. But I promise you it gets better. You get stronger. And one day you'll meet someone who will show you what real love looks like. Maya set down her pen and let herself cry. Really cry. Not tears of shame this time, but tears of release. She was letting go of something she'd carried for too long. When she finished the letter, she felt lighter, like she'd put down a weight she didn't even realize she was still carrying. That evening, Daniel came over with takeout. He found Maya on her couch, the letter beside her, eyes red but face peaceful. You okay? He asked, setting down the food and sitting next to her. Yeah, Maya said. I wrote that letter my therapist assigned. To my younger self. How was it? Hard but good. She picked up the letter. Can I read it to you? Daniel nodded. Of course. Maya read the entire letter out loud. Her voice shook in places, but she made it through. When she finished, Daniel was quiet for a moment. That was beautiful, he finally said. And true. Every word of it. Maya leaned against him. I'm starting to believe it. Not all the time. Not every day. But sometimes I can look at myself and not feel that crushing shame. That's progress, right? That's huge progress, Daniel said, wrapping his arm around her. They ate dinner while watching a documentary, comfortable in each other's presence. This was what Maya loved most about their relationship. The ease of it. How she didn't have to pretend or perform. She could just be herself, even on days when herself was still healing. A few days later, something happened that tested that healing. Maya was at a small gathering with some mutual friends. Everyone was having a good time, laughing and sharing stories when one of the guys, Kevin, made a comment that made Maya's blood run cold. I could never seriously date someone who's been around, you know? Kevin said, beer in hand. Like, I want someone pure, someone who saved themselves. That's just how I was raised. The room got awkward. A few people shifted uncomfortably. But Kevin kept going. It's about respect. If a woman doesn't respect herself enough to wait, why should I respect her? There's good girls and there's the other kind. I want the good kind. Maya felt her chest tighten. She knew people thought this way. She'd heard these opinions before, usually whispered behind closed doors. But hearing it said so casually, so confidently, brought back every insecurity she'd been working through. She saw Daniel's jaw clench. He was about to say something, but Maya stood up first. That's garbage, she said, her voice steady despite her racing heart. That's complete and utter garbage, Kevin. Everyone turned to look at her. Kevin seemed surprised that quiet Maya was speaking up. What you're saying is that women's value is tied to their bodies, that they're only worthy if they meet your standard of purity. Do you realize how damaging that thinking is? Kevin opened his mouth, but Maya wasn't done. Women are human beings. They make choices. They have experiences. They live their lives. And none of that makes them less worthy of love or respect. If you can't see that, then any woman who ends up with you is settling for someone who sees them as an object, not a person. The room was completely silent now. And another thing, Maya continued, feeling years of suppressed anger and hurt flowing out. Men like you never apply the same standards to yourselves. You want a pure woman, but what about you? Have you saved yourself? Or is this standard only for women? Kevin's face reddened. That's different. No, it's not different. It's a double standard based on outdated ideas that have hurt people for generations. And I'm tired of pretending it's okay. Maya grabbed her purse. I'm leaving. Daniel, you coming? Daniel stood immediately. Absolutely. As they walked to the car, Maya's hands were shaking. The adrenaline was wearing off and reality was setting in. Had she really just done that? Had she really confronted someone so publicly? Hey, Daniel said, stopping her before she got in the car. That was amazing. I'm so proud of you. I can't believe I said all that, Maya admitted. My heart is pounding. You stood up for yourself. You stood up for all women who've been made to feel less than because of stupid, harmful ideas. That took courage. Maya leaned against the car. It felt good. Scary, but good. I've spent so long believing those things about myself. Hearing someone say them out loud like that, so casually, something just snapped. Daniel hugged her. You're not that scared girl anymore. You're finding your voice, and it's powerful. On the drive home, Maya felt strange. Not bad strange. Different strange. Like she'd crossed some invisible line and couldn't go back. Do you think I was too harsh? She asked Daniel. No, Kevin needed to hear that. Guys like him need to understand that their opinions aren't harmless. They shape how women see themselves. They create shame where there shouldn't be any. Maya nodded slowly. I wish someone had said those things to me 7 years ago. Maybe I wouldn't have spent so long hating myself. But you can say them to others now, Daniel pointed out. You can be for someone else what you needed back then. That thought stayed with Maya for days. Could she help other women who were struggling with the same shame? Could her pain actually serve a purpose? She brought it up in her next therapy session. I've been thinking, Maya told Dr. Patel, about maybe sharing my story, not publicly or anything, but maybe volunteering somewhere, talking to young women who might be going through similar things. Dr. Patel smiled. That's a wonderful idea. What made you think of it? I confronted someone the other day, someone who was saying the exact things I used to believe about myself, and standing up to him felt powerful, like I was finally fighting back against all those years of shame. I thought maybe I could help others fight back too. Do you feel ready for that? Maya considered. Not completely. I still have bad days where I slip back into old thinking, but maybe that's actually helpful. Maybe knowing I'm still on the journey makes me more relatable than if I had it all figured out. Dr. Patel nodded. Recovery isn't linear. Sharing your ongoing journey can be just as powerful as sharing a completed one. Maya started researching organizations that worked with young women. She found a community center that offered mentorship programs for teenage girls. She signed up, nervous but determined. Her first session with her assigned mentee, a 17-year-old girl named Zara, was awkward. They sat in the community center's small meeting room, both uncertain how to start. So, Zara said, playing with her phone, what are we supposed to talk about? Anything you want, Maya said. This is your time. Zara was quiet for a moment. Then quietly, can I ask you something personal? Sure. Have you ever done something you really regret? Like something that changed how you saw yourself? Maya's heart ached. She recognized that question, that pain behind it. Yes, Maya said honestly. I have. Zara looked up, surprised by the direct answer. Really? What did you do? Maya took a breath. When I was 19, I was in a relationship. I thought he loved me. I was intimate with him and then he left. And I spent the next 7 years thinking I was worthless because of it. Zara's eyes widened. You did? I did. I let that one experience define me for so long. I believed I was damaged, that no good person would want me, that I'd made an unforgivable mistake. But you don't think that anymore? Maya smiled sadly. I'm learning not to. It's hard. Some days I still struggle, but I have people in my life now who showed me that my worth isn't tied to my past, that I'm more than my mistakes. Zara was quiet, tears forming in her eyes. I did something too, with my boyfriend. And now he's telling everyone at school. And people are calling me names. And I feel so stupid and ashamed and... She broke down crying. Maya moved closer, offering tissues. It's okay. Let it out. Everyone thinks I'm trash now, Zara sobbed. Even my friends look at me differently. And my parents can never know because they'd